There comes a moment in almost every gardener's life when a patch of soil simply gives up. It stops draining well, stops holding nutrients, stops supporting healthy root systems, and everything you plant there looks tired before it even begins. Many call this dead soil, though the truth is that soil rarely dies. It just becomes exhausted, compacted, and stripped of the biology that keeps it alive. The good news is that it can be revived, and one of the most effective overlooked methods is something gardeners centuries ago leaned on heavily. I call it the forgotten seed method, using carefully chosen seed mixes to rebuild soil structure, restore microbial life, and bring your garden beds back from the edge naturally without turning, chemicals, or expensive amendments. This method works because plants are the true architects of soil. They unlock minerals, pump sugars into the ground to feed microbes, stabilize moisture, break up compaction with their roots, and shade the soil surface to keep biology thriving. No bagged fertilizer can do all that. Only living roots can. Today, I'll walk you through the method step by step so you can use it to transform even your most depleted beds. The problem with dead soil and why most solutions don't work. When soil becomes compacted or depleted, most gardeners reach for the same fixes: add compost, add manure, add fertilizer, loosen the bed by turning it, or dump in some store-bought soil. But exhausted soil doesn't magically change because you mix something in. You know, depleted soil just doesn't have any active life. No fungi, no bacteria, no beneficial nematodes, and honestly, not even earthworm activity. Without all that, compost simply sits there, nutrients get tied up instead of cycling through, and water really struggles to penetrate the soil. A bed in this state, well, it needs something most gardeners don't really think about. Plants that actually repair soil before you even try to grow crops in it. So, that's exactly where the forgotten seed method comes in. This approach, it rebuilds soil from the bottom up, using roots that act as natural tillers, natural feeders, and even natural structure builders. The seeds you sow, they honestly become the medicine your soil needs. Let me tell you what the forgotten seed method actually is. It's a revival technique, and it's all about sowing a strategic blend of fast-growing, soil-fixing plants, some that loosen the soil, some that feed it, and some that cover it, so that even the most severely depleted beds can regain structure, fertility, moisture balance, and, of course, biological activity. So, this isn't the typical cover crop approach you might be used to. It's actually much more targeted and specifically designed for soil that, well, feels like brick, dust, or even lifeless sand. The method uses 3 categories of plants that, you know, work together in harmony. Deep-root loosening seeds, first off, break up compaction and create channels for air and water to move through. Nitrogen-fixing seeds, on the other hand, inject fertility into the soil biologically instead of relying on fertilizer. And then soil-shading seeds help prevent moisture loss and create just the right environment for microbes to, well, rebound. When you put all 3 together, these plants actually revive soil much faster than compost alone ever could. All right, here's the blend serious gardeners use when reviving exhausted soil. You can follow this exact ratio, and trust me, it works wonders. So here it is. 1 part daikon radish, which acts as a deep root loosener. Then 1 part crimson clover or hairy vetch, serving as a nitrogen fixer. And finally 1 part buckwheat or oats, which is your fast-covering soil shielder. This 1-to-1-to-1 ratio creates the perfect revival crew for your garden. Each plant plays a distinct role, and together they work harmoniously to rejuvenate your soil. Daikon radish. You know, daikon sends roots 2 to 3 feet down, piercing through those compacted layers. And when the roots decompose, they leave open channels, little highways that earthworms, air and water rush into. No tiller can do this without tearing the soil apart. Clover or vetch. So, legumes partner with soil bacteria to convert atmospheric nitrogen into plant-available forms. As the roots die back, nitrogen returns to the soil in gentle, natural doses. This is slow-release fertility at its best. Buckwheat or oats. These are quick-growing cover plants that grow dense foliage fast. That foliage shades the soil, traps moisture, prevents erosion, cools the surface, and honestly feeds the microbial army living beneath. When cut down, they break down easily, leaving behind highly digestible organic matter. Together, these seeds act like a resuscitation team for lifeless soil. It's truly fascinating how they work in harmony to breathe life back into the earth. So, let's dive into how to apply the forgotten seed method step by step. It's simpler than you might think, and I'll guide you through each part. Now, there's no need to turn the soil or prepare it heavily. The beauty of this method is that it works even when the soil is too hard to dig. Step 1 is to scrape the surface lightly with a rake or hoe, just enough to rough up the top layer and create tiny openings for seeds. It's a gentle process, yet so effective. All right, step 2 is to broadcast your seed blend generously. Unlike vegetable seeds, soil-reviving seeds really don't need perfect spacing. They actually thrive in thick plantings. Step 3 is to cover lightly with a thin layer of mulch, no more than ½ an inch. Straw, shredded leaves or grass clippings work well for this. Mulch helps retain moisture and, prevent seeds from drying out. Step 4 is to water thoroughly the first time, then only as needed. These plants are pretty hardy and will grow even in poor soil conditions. Within 10 to 14 days, you'll see the first signs of recovery. Buckwheat and oats sprout first. Clover follows. Daikon sends down roots quietly while barely showing at the surface. This method is most effective when you allow the seed mix to grow for 6 to 8 weeks. After that, you chop the plants at the soil line and let the roots decompose naturally. Do not pull them. Pulling disrupts the newly developing soil structure. Over the next month, you will literally see the soil improve. It will darken, soften, and become more crumbly. Earthworms will show up. Water will infiltrate instead of pooling. Your dead bed will begin acting alive again. So, compost adds nutrients, but it does not repair soil structure. Dead soil, lacks the root channels that keep air and moisture moving. It also lacks the natural sugars roots exude to feed microbes. And, it lacks the protection that living plant cover provides. The forgotten seed method actually provides all three. Roots rebuild structure, plants shade and protect the soil, and legumes add natural nitrogen. Daikon sends oxygen deep into compacted layers, making it easier for roots to grow. And, buckwheat feeds microbes with rapid organic matter, really boosting the life in your soil. And when it all decomposes, the soil transforms from the inside out. This is why farmers have used versions of this method for centuries. It's simple, cheap, and incredibly powerful. Dead soil isn't an ending. It's a signal that your soil needs roots, biology, and natural structure, not chemicals, not store-bought fixes, and not more tilling. The forgotten seed method restores soil the same way nature rebuilds forests and meadows, with plants doing the work underground. If you want more practical soil restoration wisdom like this, be sure to subscribe to Gentle Herb Gardening and share this video with another gardener who's fighting tired, lifeless soil. Soil is never truly dead. Sometimes it just needs the right seeds to come back to life.